Hello Patriots, Crazy Hawk 99 here, and this will be the second installment of the new video series, What's on Your Bookshelf. And this review will be on a work of nonfiction, and I think I alluded to it or showed it in the end of the first book review. And the book is Lexington and Concord, the beginning of the War of the American Revolution. Very, very good book. It was originally published in, I think, 1959, and it was originally published under the title William Diamond's Drum. So if you get a copy of William Diamond's Drum, that's probably going to be the original version. I don't know if there's been any changes to the book in that version, because I haven't read that version. But it's, like I said, a work of nonfiction. It is not a novel, but it's very readable. It's not dry history. It starts off going in the Lexington and Concord area, the settlements there, and it talks to how some of the disagreements came about between the colonists and the British, the Crown. And it talks about key players in that time period, and I was very impressed that, and probably didn't really realize at the time how much effect the clergy had on the colonists, and almost to the political level. They were involved in a lot there, and don't take that to be a negative. I just found it interesting, and obviously that's not so much in today's world. The church has a part in our politics, but it's not a very big one anymore. So it starts off there, and then it goes into, obviously, the Battle of Lexington, which was the first real force-on-force bloodshed between the colonists and the Crown. Not to take away from the bloodshed at the Boston Massacre, but that was a one-way shooting range. There was no return fire. So, and then from there it goes on to the next chapter would be Concord, with the Battle of Concord, and then it talks about the retreat, and that's really what it was about, the retreat of the British forces from Concord back through Lexington, and it talks about key people that. I mean, obviously, we all, in our American history, we took in high school, and those of you that have taken American history in college, particularly in high school, I don't really remember, or even for that matter, grade school, I don't really remember nearly the level of the key individuals mentioned here. I mean, we've all heard about John Hancock and John Adams and Sam Adams, and Paul Revere, and in this book, Paul Revere plays a very, very small part, an important part, but a very small part. But there are other people, Captain John Parker, and I don't want to just try to dredge up the names and bore you, but it's very interesting that brings up all the key players, to include those on the British side, not just General Thomas Gage, but those military officers that were involved in the battle, and then after the Battle of Concord and the retreat, it goes into how the let's just call them instigators, because I think that's what Sam Adams would be considered, and I don't mean that in a negative way, because we're thankful that he was there and played the part he played, but what they, for lack of better words, they used what happened to their advantage in ways that I never would have imagined. They expounded on the truth greatly, and they went to great lengths to get the story, their version of the story, which was only rooted in fact, not so much literally as they told it to England before General Gage got his story to England, and they did so in the interest of gaining support from the British citizens and the British populace, and that was largely successful from all accounts, and they got their story over there 2 solid weeks before General Gage's, and when General Gage's story got there, actually it was a lot of nothing. He pretty much just said, yeah, there was an incident kind of thing. He didn't go into any detail about how bad it was. So by the time he was able to address it to his side anyway, it was too late, and the story had been told. And then from there it goes on into how they used that to go to Philadelphia and gather the support of the other colonies. So that's pretty much all I've got to say about it. I mean, it's really interesting, very readable. It has several illustrations in it, maps to show the movements of the British and where the colonists were, and it gives you an idea that the geography involved. And then there's some pictures of some of the key players. Here's Sam Adams and John Hancock there. It's let me tell you how long it is without the bibliography and all that, just so you got an idea. The bibliography and the notes take up a decent amount. So you're looking at about 270 pages basically of the book itself. Really worth your time. I consider it's nonfiction, and I read it fairly quickly. I finished it several weeks ago, or a couple weeks ago, and just now getting around to this video. But highly encourage you to pick this up if you're interested in how our nation got started, and at least from the Revolutionary War standpoint. But that's about all I've got for you. I've got another one. I'll be honest with you. I just started the book, The Last of the Mohicans, and I'm struggling to read it. I finished the first chapter. The style of writing is hard for me to do. Maybe I'm a little distracted right now, so I'm probably going to shelf that and re-engage that at some point in the future. But I'm just too distracted right now to read it. It takes too much effort to try to understand the way the gentleman writes. And we've all seen the movie The Last of the Mohicans, and that's what encouraged me to pick up the book. And I will get through it one of these days, maybe. But so I'm right now kind of looking. Well, I'm on another book, but it's not so much a novel. We'll talk about that when I get done with it. But I am looking through my library of books. You see some of them in the background. I've got hundreds of books, and many of them I haven't read yet. So I'm looking through those to see what I want to read next. I think it's going to be a little more current times type of thing, probably Afghanistan, Iraq, something like that. But I hope you guys find these things interesting. Heck, if nothing else, leave a recommendation in the comments, questions, comments, obviously, but leave a recommendation if you got a book that you think I'd enjoy or find beneficial to read. That's all I've got for you guys. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot.